Finally! A video that's been 3 years in the making is finally here. I can say with absolute confidence after delaying it and canceling multiple haters guides here, welcome to the MLS Cup Final, the apex of the most underrated yet bonkers playoff stage in all of North American sports. Drama and intensity riddle the battlefield as team after team falls into their quest to call themselves champions. We started with 18 teams and are now down to 2. Before we go over the finalists, we must go over everyone else who didn't make it in. Pain is their inevitable reward. If you look for a reason to get rid of the current format of the playoffs, look no further than this game. Real Salt Lake has been dancing with fire all year, and it showed in this game as well. It started pretty poorly with letting Felipe Mora score 2 straight shots for the early lead. He's headed down here in 2025 and hasn't scored a goal in league play for 23 straight weeks. Justin Glad did score a goal at the dying moments of the first half to at least keep the drive alive. RSL seemingly understood the dire situation and started the second half like their lives were on the line. They got a free kick at the 76th minute. If they can somehow tie this puppy up, they have a chance to come back from this.
It's this one and scores! But he's been
Ruan Cruz! What the fuck was that? Brian Barrow took a beautiful shot to even the score, but you chose now to be a fucking idiot? You do realize this wasn't what RSL meant when you're told you'd be playing American football, right? You just screwed this team out of a postseason opportunity. Portland, just finish him off already.
Lassiter now. Chips it, back post unmarked, and in from Kamal Miller!
And that's how you take advantage of the chaos. Oh, don't worry, Pablo. This may have been a disaster for RSL, but ownership likes you and Kurt Schmidt too much, so both of you get contract extensions. Ruan Cruz also stays put, mostly because he's still on loan for 1 full year. Isn't that a bitch?
You blew it. Fish.
On the other hand, this wildcard game was a tad bit more enjoyable than what was offered from the West. Orlando put up a spirited performance in the first half to keep the scoreline drawn at 0. Chicago, however, was playing with adversity on their mind. Their first playoff appearance in 8 long years. Their last playoff win was double that amount. These players in red have seen the suffering of their fans and had enough. They blow the hinges off to start the second half, and they surge to a dominating 3-0 lead. Orlando, it was nice knowing you. You may have had playoff experience in your arsenal, but Chicago had a fire, no pun intended, that could not be put out. You do get a pity goal in the 88th minute, but that's about it. The Fire wins their first postseason game in 16 long, grueling years. Orlando will now have to look to replacing a good chunk of their roster, including Cesar Araujo and Pedro Gallese. It could be worse for you guys. At least that pink team down south didn't make it to the Cup Final or anything. Oh, wait. Okay, I'll be honest. I didn't expect you guys to give San Diego a run for their money in this series, let alone push it to all 3 games. James Pantemis held the home team at bay to open Game 1, before the hinges come straight off. At least Christopher Valdez scored to break the shutout. A stalemate would be all the second half could offer. The only action being Heimer Forey getting red-carded out of both Game 1 and Game 2. Speaking of which, it started off with Chucky Lozano returning from timeout, followed by beautiful goals from him and Pellegrino. Sadly, in what could only be a sense of retribution, San Diego takes the lead by the 50th minute. Portland seemingly thought their season was over, and then with 10 seconds left in stoppage time,
Lassiter with the cross.
the youngster Gage Guerra managed to save their asses to send them to PKs. It seems like a nightmare scenario for them as 2 penalties are stuffed by Dos Santos. Too bad the visitors whiffed 3 straight times. Anthony nails the final penalty to force a Game 3. Portland seemingly had all the momentum, and they let San Diego teabag them all game long to end this series. Why do you gotta edges like that, Portland? Nobody likes the cocktease.
You blow it, man.
Another 3-game series in the West. Unlike the hot start to slow burn that Portland-San Diego offered, this one was a gradual build-up. Game 1 was scrappy and intense, but ended the full 90 minutes without either side drawing first blood. Penalty kicks were had, both sides having a miss apiece. The deciding factor, 2 straight goalpost doings to hand Minnesota the first game. Game 2, however, was the opposite story. Seattle surges to a 3-0 lead, bringing they'll cruise to a 3rd match. The Loons answer with 2 stoppage time goals to close the first half. Only a single goal from Vargas in the second half seals the win for Seattle. To match 3 we go. Seattle quickly pounces on a 2-0 lead before the 10-minute mark. Minnesota pulls one back by the 17th minute. However, a death blow might be brewing.
To the grasp of Stephen Fry. And a little bit of afters here. Rosales may be in trouble, he is. It's a red card.
Rosales gets himself bounced in the 40th minute. Minnesota must play a man down. Seattle seemingly had their ticket to the conference semifinals punched by halftime. Just keep them in bay, and you're on your way.
Ball in. Flash the cross, goal! Oh, then.
Are you kidding me, Seattle? You let them tie it up? Surely this won't get worse.
Tornado's ball in. The heads go up, it's in!
They got the lead? What the fuck? They're playing with 10 men! Wake the fuck up! Do something!
Rusnak's ball in. Not cleared away! Goal!
Thank God for Jordan Morris. It may not be the cleanest draw, but it sends them to penalties once again. Both teams miss a shot. So to sudden death we go. You miraculously make a stop. So bury this kick and off you go to San Diego.
Can he put Seattle Sounders through? Vargas! It's the 1-1!
What the fuck was that? That was the weakest penalty kick anyone has ever seen. Oh, but you do make another save. Surely this will be the dagger for the Loons.
Up against Dane St. Clair. It's De Rosario. It's saved!
What? How are you choking now? Fucking now! Dane St. Clair didn't make the same mistake. Just stop it here and eliminate these useless fucks already.
Andrew Thomas for Seattle Sounders. It's over! It's over! Seattle Sounders are out!
Minnesota, you better thank the gods you survived this game. Take your tickets to the semifinals. As for Seattle, you get no points for this. You had a gimme shot at moving on, but chose to choke just as bad as the Mariners did. At least they advanced in their playoffs before they choked. Just get the fuck out of my sight.
Go to the church and ask God to forgive you.
Austin returned to the playoffs after a brief absence. Good for you. Now here's your prize. Being stacked up versus LAFC. You remember these guys, right? They're the same team that eliminated you last time. Just with the addition of their own Asian superstar in Son Heung-min. It seems as if business was usual. The two draw blood to get on the scoreline with a goal apiece. But then Ibawanga strikes in the second half to steal the first match. The series shifts to Q2 with a chance to make their mark. Instead, said Golden Boy Son Heung-min strikes first. And all of South Korea celebrates like Japan did in the World Series. He also adds an assist to put the black and gold up 2-0. Though you do get a lifeline, a penalty kick to try to claw back into this. Too bad Hugo Lloris is a brick wall. It can't get worse though. Can it? Oh dear God. This is such a hilarious meltdown. You do get a pity goal, but that's a mercy. Though this second attempt was absolutely mental. Too bad the referees called it offside. The fans are crying wolf about getting ref-balled. Too bad it wouldn't have saved you in the end. Jesus Christ, LAFC, you already had the game won. You really want your tickets to the conference semifinals? Here, take it, damn! And so ends another season for the Black and Verde. Columbus fans and Houston fans laugh at their collapse. Fuck you, Precourt!
You blew it!
So you make it back with a revamped roster and without your botched ticket to Europe for Jesus Ferreira. But at least you're here. Sadly, you gotta go up against the Whitecaps, who are hungry to shed some playoff demons. It was not pretty for match 1. They tear you to shreds at BC Place. The Caps win 3-0. Match 2, you had some chances. You scored in the 25th minute to give y'all some life into this series. If only that second goal could count. Surely this seemed enough to force a third match as you hold them to not even getting a shot on target. All that's left is to let the stoppage time minutes tick away.
Ubas, contact, Mueller! Off the line! And in!
Or they could let Vancouver back into this and send this game to penalties. You got a joint to get the first miss, but keep your shots in and you'll make the miss.
Norris! No! It's over!
Or shoot it wide to end your season right there. I'm gonna laugh at your failure, then cry myself to sleep.
You suck.
Chicago seemingly has all the momentum after winning their previous round. However, their next challenge is a Supporter Shield winner in Philadelphia. You do keep the Union at bay for the first 70 minutes, And then they pounce. And quickly, 1 goal became 2. However, Chicago wasn't going to go down quietly. They score 1 to claw into the score sheet. But with the dying minutes of stoppage time, it would be a Herculean effort to salvage this game.
Bomba. Elliott gives it a go, keeps it low and scores.
Jack Elliott! What a shot! Surely this should boost some confidence. Come on, Sergio, why did you take the bait? That's mental gymnastics 101. Wagner was clearly trying to sucker you in. Now you'll be gone for game 2. You struck at the worst time. We go to penalty kicks. Both teams get saves each. So far, so good.
Nope.
Death by crossbar. Seems like a trend in this postseason, doesn't it? Billy wins. Game 2 is on deck from Bridgeview. And all I will say is that it happened. You couldn't even get a pity goal thanks to supposed handball. I'm going to say that the less I talk about this game, the better. But don't feel bad, Fire fans. Look at the positives. You made it back to the playoffs after a long drought. You snapped your losing streak in the postseason, even if it was a glorified play-in game. And even better, you beat out Jerry Reinsdorf for that plot of land in the 78th to build a downtown stadium. Everything is looking up Chicago. Talk about a double whammy for a consolation prize. You trigger the purchase of Andre Franco and acquire the Swedish international Anton Saletros? Greg Berhalter might be cooking something up down there in Chicagoland. Keep an eye on them for years to come. To say that Nashville doesn't have demons to exercise would be an understatement. Both of these 2020 expansion teams joined at the hip with differing trajectories. Miami starting slow but surging to success, for obvious reasons. Nashville starting hot but tempering as of late. They do have a U.S. Open Cup in their cabinet, but they also have their 2023 Leagues Cup defeat and a Decision Day brawl. So revenge is on their mind. It would not come in match 1 as Miami pounces on a 3-1 win, dominating. But it's a 3-game series, all you need is a bit of luck. Game 2 seemingly opens said luck with a goal to draw first blood. Bauer adds a goal to shift the momentum their way. Messi pulls one back in the dying minutes of the game, but it was not enough. Even better, Suarez gets a red to get him benched for a pivotal clincher. To Game 3 we go. Messi and Miami were upset in last year's best-of-3 series, and this time Suarez is gone. Perhaps history can repeat itself. Unfortunately, it would be Miami that repeats their dominating history with Nashville. 4 uninterrupted goals. Nashville was dead on arrival. The poor fools thought getting Suarez knocked out was all they needed, but they forgot they still had to take care of Messi. It was a great season all in all, but this loss will sting for a while. Even more so with club legend Walker Zimmerman being among the many on the way out. He deserved more than what he got here. What a waste.
You blow it!
Hell is Real, Playoff Edition 2. In one of the premier rivalries MLS has to offer in the playoffs, a treat to see for anyone, neutral or aligned. Columbus has the lone playoff victory in their corner, thwarting what was supposed to be a fairy tale 2023 for Cincinnati. The Bailey boys never forgot that derailment. Both teams play scrappy to begin the first bout, heavyweights going blow for blow. But then, Columbus blinks first. A screamer from Kevin Denke was enough to put a leg up in this series. Game 2 shifts to lower.com field. For a team that seriously lacks the attack that Cucho Hernandez used to give, they found a way to pounce first. Max Arvston answers the call. Aaron Herrera goes for a second, but Kubo tackles to get himself bounced with a red card. And the goals keep pouring in. Game 3 heads to TQL, and more of the same with Game 1. Except this time, Cincinnati blinks first.
With the speed to get on this, works it across Russell Rowe!
Jason Russell Rowe gets the opening goal. Cincinnati is in panic mode. Less than 30 minutes left before they have to go home.
Loose ball, goal!
High-end talent salvages the season to tie it up. We're level again. The Crew tries to get back in this game and steal another victory versus Cincinnati, but Brenner has other plans.
They work it for Brenner, looking for a lane, shoot, score!
A brace to take the lead. It's still not over yet. The Crew are pushing to get an equalizer. But just like many games this year, skied it wide. Cincinnati gets their payback. Columbus is going home. Another heartbreaker in this scenario? Darlington Nagby. his career ends way short of adding one more MLS Cup ring to his hand. Could have had a full fist. Sorry, Darlington. Wait a minute. You let Wilfred Nancy go? Why? I'm sure Celtic offered you a shit ton of money for his services, but still, he's been your best coach since the crew was saved. Something tells me this is going to be pretty bad for Columbus, isn't it? Oh boy. Let's be totally honest, we all disregarded this matchup as the most meh matchup in the playoffs. Despite that, they did try to put eyeballs on their side. Alonso Martinez opens the scores for this series, and it was all they could muster to steal Game 1. Game 2 pivots to Yankee Stadium. Just like Game 1, both sides put up a defensive battle in the Bronx to either end the series or force it for one more game. The 90 minutes end with penalty kicks on the horizon. Matt Freese stuffs it. All they need to do is bide their time. And he kicks it wide. Danger for NYCFC. The mind games continue. Charlotte makes a shot and saves it in the 8th spot. Game 3 and Charlotte looms. Both try to break through but are stuffed in each way. Until the breakthrough reveals itself. Okay, so they get one up, but surely they'll answer back, right? Nope. They get one up on the home crowd. Charlotte, you need to answer for this pathetic excuse of play. You haven't scored a goal in 3 straight games. Just lay down and die. Gorno says not so fast and breaks through. It only took them 260 minutes. Speaking of minutes, you get 12 of stoppage time. Surely this could mean a goal to end regulation could loom. Well, they're right. It just wasn't for you. New York City seals a win to move on to the semifinals. This also means this is the first time the home team fails to win all 3 games. What a fucking display of shit. New York didn't deserve to move on, but someone had to give, so you're moving up. As for Charlotte, you're done. Now get out!
You blew it, boy! You really blew it!
Oh yeah, I forgot we have to do this mandatory international break to interrupt the playoffs. That's not ideal if you want to grow this sport in America, especially if the casual fan doesn't understand the idea of a pause in the postseason. But my gut tells me that something big is happening behind the scenes. Something that could tip the scales drastically. Madre de Dios. Talk about seismic. Major League Soccer is officially pulling the trigger on a calendar shift. Something that a lot of fans have been clamoring for years. There's a lot to process here, so here's a skivvy of all the changes. The league will now begin in mid-July and end in April of the following year. This follows the scheduling format of every other soccer league in the world. This makes it significantly easier for player transfers to happen. Instead of waiting for a player to finish until the end of their campaign to join MLS, this change will make it faster and simpler to switch countries mid-campaign. Of course, this also means that some northern markets will be impacted since they almost all play in open-air stadiums, and the winter is where their most coldest and snowiest games would happen. To counteract this, MLS will have a 2-month break in December and January to avoid those harsh temperatures. You might think this is like Liga MX with their Apertura and Clausura campaigns, but it's not that at all. Liga MX counts those as 2 separate seasons in 1 year. This will be one continuous campaign for MLS. This will also help avoid competition from the NFL during their playoffs and the Super Bowl. The MLS Cup playoffs will still remain, with it now being staged in May. And thanks to the shift, there will no longer be an international break to interrupt the most crucial games of the season. Format to be determined later, but one thing's for sure is that the Eastern and Western conferences will be phased out in favor of 5 divisions with 6 teams each. And it will be determined on a single league-wide table to determine playoff seeding. This is a lot to process, and MLS knows that too. Which is why MLS will stage a shortened 14-game regular season in 2027 to get us familiarized with the new format. There are still questions like how this will affect other cup competitions like the US Open Cup, Leagues Cup, and CONCACAF Champions Cup, but I'm sure MLS will have answers as we watch on Apple TV. Oh yeah, speaking of which, there will be some changes there too. MLS Season Pass will be shut down at the end of this season, and all MLS games will be integrated with the entire Apple TV service. That means for one set price, you can watch your favorite MLS team, as well as an abundance of shows, movies, documentaries, Formula One races, Friday Night Baseball, Ted Lasso. You guys like Ted Lasso, don't you? In addition, Apple is buying out the last 3 years of the TV deal, which means the league might be seeing a new, possibly more accessible TV deal in 3 short years from now. This is all a seismic shift, and while I do have mixed feelings, I'm open to see how it will go. Just ignore the crowd still bitching about pro-rel. Besides, with the way the USL is running lately, it might be the least of their concerns. Now back to your regularly scheduled shitposting. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Minnesota has had heartbreak after heartbreak across various sports. All you wanted to do was bring a reprieve of sorts to the fans in the Twin Cities. Instead, another chapter in the misery of Minnesota sports will be written. It almost wasn't the case. The first half was scrappy, with both sides trying to get the opener. The second half almost started with a bang. Robin Lode had the goal on target.
Damn.
Ian Belcher saved that opportunity. That might have been your best shot. Dead serious. Yeboah may have had that wide open, but Cisniega was a different animal. Saving that chance. Damn, what a performance. Sadly, those 2 chances could have been the deciding factors, if not for this.
And thinks about the impact players.
Agony, thy name is Anders Dreyer. That was all she wrote for Minnesota. Another season full of promise goes up in smoke. Poor Minnesotans. What did they do to deserve this from all their sports teams? Vancouver and LA. We meet again. We seem to be having a young playoff rivalry budding here. For the 3rd consecutive year, these 2 teams go head-to-head. LA holds a 2-0 record over the Caps. LAFC wanted to dominate. Vancouver wants to flip the script. So far, that's what happens with an opening goal. But it looks like they get a goal for each playoff embarrassment. 2 goals before halftime. Vancouver is 45 minutes away from avenging the Vanni Sartini Caps that could never break through. However, just like the Dodgers have Ohtani, LAFC have their own Asian superstar, Big Dong Sun. Need to workshop that name. But what doesn't need to be workshopped was that insane goal to suck the life out of BC Place. Caps fans are left stunned, and a bad situation seemingly made even worse. Tristan Blackman tried to be cute and got himself kicked out. Vancouver is down to 10 men. Surely LAFC can't capitalize on this. Too bad Son Heung-min had other plans. An equalizer at stoppage time. This game is going off the rails. For the first time in this postseason, we're going to overtime. Real overtime. Both sides try to get an advantage but are equally matched. LAFC gets a shot. Or 3. How did any of them not break through? The gods have deemed this game too good to end like this. It needs penalty kicks to decide the victor. Has the Sung Hyung-min magic run out for the year? The kicks continue, and Mark Delgado skies it wide. Danger zone. They stop Ocampo to stay in this fight. Matias Laborda steps up, however, and something tells me he's ready to finish it. The demons of playoff past have been slain. Vancouver moves on. There should be no shame for LAFC. This was a game that neither team deserved to lose, but there had to be a loser. And sadly, it must be you. Bid farewell to Steve Cherundolo, but something tells me this will be a premier rivalry in MLS. Stand proud, LAFC. You are strong. Unless you're Hugo Lloris. Come on, man. I understand that artificial turf isn't the most ideal surface for soccer, but man, at least lose with dignity. Come on. Unfortunately, what was said for LAFC could not be said for Cincy. It seems as though that they emptied their load after dismantling Columbus that they didn't even prepare for Miami. Or what? You're gonna place the blame on the international break? Bull fucking shit. Vancouver and LA had an even longer break than you, and they were both locked in to put in an all-time classic. Even if they didn't advance, Minnesota at least tried to win. Did you even try to give any effort, Cincinnati? Maybe in the first half, but you were dead on arrival come the second half. You lost No Nut November after beating the Crew, and you were too satisfied to recover. You let Messi teabag you with all 4 goal contributions. Let me put it in a way you fuckers can understand. You are the chokiest chokers to ever choke their way out of fucking Chokesville. You know who should be blamed for this loss? Teenage Davey! For trading jerseys with Messi? Yes, it's embarrassing to swap shirts with a team that just skull-fucked the shit out of you. But you know what would have been better? Not letting said skull fucking occur in the goddamn first place! I've wasted enough time on you useless fucks. Just get out of my sight.
You had an opportunity, and you blew it.
You made easy work of Chicago in 2 games to host the semifinals. Everything is coming up Philly for the Supporter Shield winners. Home field advantage all the way to MLS Cup. No one should stop you now. Who's next? New York City? Please. They lifted the Supporter Shield in front of their faces the last time they faced off. Just show them why you're the best in the league and move on. Okay, so you want to be gentlemen and let them get the first goal. Fine, whatever. It's still early. Surely you have enough time to swipe this game back.
Oh no!
Holy butt fuck, that was close. Okay, boys, enough dicking around. It was fun playing down to competition, but playtime is over. You have to respond, and you have to respond now. Surely you have somebody to salvage this game, right? Barbo? Ure? Wagner? Anybody? Hell, I'll even take Kevin Sullivan. Can anybody find the equalizer with salvage time?
Frankie Westfield with the long throw into the 18. Bueno, that's it! Celebration!
I guess not. Another postseason collapse for Philadelphia. Seems on brand for the city. With the Union's loss, guess who now has home field advantage to the Cup? Miami. You've doomed us if they make it and win it all. You've doomed us all.
You blew it! You had it all and you blew it!
Speaking of top-heavy favorites that came up short, what the fuck was that, San Diego? All that showboating, all that history, all that magic you had all year. You even swiped the top seed in the West from Vancouver on decision day. Turns out Vancouver didn't forget, and they certainly did not forgive. A 3-goal lead by halftime, 2 of them happening within the first 10 minutes. 1 was a fucking own goal. Chucky Lozano did try to will this team to a comeback attempt, but saw as a debut season of the ages goes up in flames. They try to keep Vancouver at bay, but Cisniega wasn't done self-destructing. Foul out, red card, night over. San Diego must finish their season a man down. Even with 6 minutes of stoppage time, you can't do shit. Not like you could have done so all game with all 11 men. San Diego's dream season is dead. And there is more than one team celebrating tonight. It is Chicago. They're still the only full-fledged MLS expansion team to win it all in their debut season. And it might be forever that way since I don't see MLS expanding anytime soon. Another victory for the Fire in this postseason. Don't feel too bad, San Diego. You fully embrace your city's proud history of choking. It is your birthright for time eternal.
You blew it!
Road Warriors are always impressive. Even on rare occasions, you see a playoff team win 3 straight games as the visitors. After knocking out the fraud Shield winners, they had all the confidence in the world to stop their next opponent in their own home turf to get back to MLS Cup. Only one small thing. They're facing Miami. And that team has Messi. And he's been on a generational run in this playoffs. Surprisingly, Messi's impact has been very minimal in this match. This has mostly been the Tadeo Allende game with 2 goals to open the scoring. Justin Hack pulls one back before halftime, but that was all she wrote. 2 more goals from Miami's youngsters keep them at bay. And then, the kiss of death.
Touch at home. Allende, is it 5? A hat-trick for Allende!
A hat-trick from Allende officially seals Miami's ticket to MLS Cup. Sorry, NYC. You put up a valiant effort, but that's as far as you go. At least hang your heads high with an excellent season. It will fill you with motivation as you play your full-length farewell season from Yankee Stadium next year. You're almost home, boys. 1 more season, and you're finally home. And now we are down to 2. Probably one of the most anticipated matchups to close out the 30th season of Major League Soccer. One side expected, the other not. Let's meet our finalists. Representing the Western Conference. Well, I'll be damned. You finally lived up to your potential even when you had none to begin with. After 15 years of being the perennial jobber to the Stars, the Vancouver Whitecaps have risen to the highest heights they haven't felt in almost 50 years. This is quite amazing for a downtrodden club, but how did this happen? Even with all the turnaround rates with MLS clubs, this was one no one saw coming. Let's take you to 1 year ago. The Whitecaps recently relieved Vanni Sartini of head coaching duties after another disappointing playoff exit. He was always a fiery personality but lacked a bite to back up his bark. and his teams reflected as such. Good, but not good enough. To replace him, they bring a Danish general in Jesper Sorensen, who may not be the flashiest name in the coaching ranks, but where he lacks in recognition, he makes up for in tactical football knowledge. He's been one who's seen his youngsters grow in Denmark, and hopes he'd see the same growth in Vancouver. And boy, howdy did they ever grow. Centrally linked were two players who were never known for their names, but for their tenacity. Ryan Gall from Scotland and U.S. international Brian White. White being a top goal scorer with 25 goals across all competitions. These two players have grown into the franchise faces Vancouver needed. Oh, Vancouver has no star power? Bitch, we are the star power. Brian White has had an all-star selection and would be a convincing candidate for league MVP, if a few other players didn't exist. Ryan Gall has been a stalwart in the midfield as captain of the Caps. This team is also loaded with goal scorers. On the forward ranks like Emmanuel Sabi and Daniel Rios. Nelson Pierre, Jaden Nelson, and Ryan Illumi bring youth to a stacked forward core. The midfield is also armed to the teeth with guys like Sebastian Berhalter, who has had a revival of passion for soccer after missing the last World Cup squad for the US. Now he's had an all-star season, an MLS Best 11 campaign, and could be earning his spot in the World Cup next year. Ralph Priezo, JC Nagando, Keji Cabrera, Ali Ahmed, they've got the middle of the field on lock. The back line loaded, led by Defender of the Year in Tristan Blackman. Another Best 11 teammate, the MLS All-Star reinforces the defense to be the most aggressive in MLS. Choose your poison. Would you rather be blocked by Matias Laborda or get taken down by Eddie Arocampo? Them, Veslinovic, Jodrick Bupe, it's a well-run unit full of potential finally realized. Not to mention their brick wall manning the sticks. All-Star Yohei Takaoka. He's been a revelation at goal all year and was a finalist for Goalie of the Year. If not for his insane performances all season long, Vancouver wouldn't have made it as far as they did. By this point, you're probably thought I've forgotten one more player in this year's squad. Oh no, my friends. I purposely held him back for the end. You see, the Whitecaps were already a strong team with almost running away with the top of the Western Conference before he came in. But his presence on an already stacked cup contender has made them even better. Vancouver, say hello to your designated player, Thomas Muller. The German international has made his way to Canada after spending 25 years in the Bayern Munich system. Over 35 trophies to his name, including 13 Bundesliga titles, 6 German Cups, 2 Champions League titles, and 2 Club World Cups for Bayern. Not to mention helping Germany win the World Cup in 2014. He's been one of the most winningest players the Bundesliga has ever produced and brings his winning ways to Vancouver. Winning a Canadian championship in the Battle of Vancouver bragging rights, and the first Western Conference trophy, beating a who's who of MLS history. Dallas, one of the founding members of the league and starving for their first star, dismantled in Texas. LAFC, one of the newest, winningest teams the league has, as well as proud owners of Vancouver in the playoffs. They flipped the script there. San Diego, the best expansion team in MLS history, with Chucky Lozano and a city of hearts ablaze. They reinforce the city's legacy of choking. They care not for their pedigree, they care only of evolving their own. They also have outside factors motivating them. One is their stadium situation. Their lease at BC Place expires after this season and will be used heavily during the World Cup next year. They'll need to convince city leaders to build a new stadium, maybe in the fairgrounds. We've seen teams convince cities with deep playoff runs like this, and an MLS Cup might seal the deal in their new forever home. Another is to avoid another embarrassment for Canada. The Toronto Blue Jays have broken the hearts of the country in Game 7 of the World Series. The Edmonton Oilers have lost back-to-back Stanley Cups, ironically enough to the Florida Panthers. Vancouver must not let what will be their third consecutive final lost in 1 year alone. But they have the team to avoid another embarrassment. They are now in the precipice of doing what hasn't been seen since the original Whitecaps won the Soccer Bowl in 1979. Though their final opponent may be their most challenging one yet. Representing the Eastern Conference, we all knew this team was going to make it to MLS Cup. It wasn't a matter of if, but when. Let's remember what happened last year before we go on. Last year was a legendary run for Miami, Supporters Shield winners, setting the points record and were heavy favorites to win it all. They got embarrassed in the first round to Atlanta of all teams. Atlanta, who had no identity or any semblance of a cup contender. Their magical season ended thanks to them. For their failures, Tata Martino is among the many exiled for this humiliation. Don't feel too bad for him. He managed to get another job back in MLS with Atlanta. I'm surprised he got the job with them again after calling them classless last year. To replace him, they made a questionable hire in Javier Mascherano, who seemingly hired because of his former Barcelona and Argentina teammates on this team. Hint, hint. This seemingly blatant amount of nepotism should have been a setback for Miami. Instead, it became a revelation. They weren't at the top of the league like they were last year, but they were even sneakier this year, and they used that to their advantage. They had to take down a who's who of champions of all sorts to get here. Hani Mukhtar and the reigning U.S. Open Cup champions in Nashville SC. Destroy. Lucho Acosta and a fellow Supporter Shield winner in FC Cincinnati. Destroyed. Maxi Morales and 2021 MLS Cup champion New York City FC. Destroyed. They care not of the trophies you have. They care only of the trophy they want. Miami may be known for their star power, but let's start with mentioning the lesser-known players. Players like Tadeo Allende, who's had a yeoman's performance in the playoffs, tying the postseason goal record at 8 goals, and a chance to break it in the final. Matteo Silvetti and Alan Obando flesh out the meat of the forward core. Fafa Pico isn't the same player since leaving Houston, but he still provides some forward depth. In the midfield, you have young pieces like David Ruiz, Yannick Bright, and Santiago Morales, putting in vital minutes in their blossoming careers. Balthazar Rodriguez adds some depth to a young core of wingers. They don't have Ben Cremaschi though. He's out on loan in Italy. But they bring in a veteran in Rodrigo De Paul from Atletico Madrid to bolster the ranks. Good luck going through this back line, having been embarrassed after last year's playoff exit, reinforcing the defense with Maxi Falcone and Gonzalo Luan, with youngsters like Israel Bodwright, Ryan Hall, and Ian Frey, fleshing out a loaded defense. Oscar Ustari has normally been the man at goal, but he has let a few results slip past him. Replacing him is Rocco Rios Novo, who rewarded his coach's instincts with all-time performances in the playoffs. If it wasn't for some of these pieces, Miami wouldn't have made it as far as they did, especially for both Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba, who will both be retiring at the end of the postseason. This guarantees they'll have one more match together as professionals, though Luis Suarez might be running the bench to start. This benching seemingly saved the Heron season and extended their careers a few games more. It's all thanks to these youngsters that Messi was complimented by this team, not carrying it. Ah yes, Lionel Messi, one of the greatest football players, if not the greatest footballer the world has ever seen. A winner everywhere he goes. Barcelona, Argentina, Paris Saint-Germain, and now taking his talents to South Beach. He has energized his team and brought riches to their name, and now he brings them to the doorstep of the ultimate prize yet. It will all be as joyous as witnessing Messi play at Freedom Park next year. He signed a contract extension in the fall, which will guarantee him opening the new stadium next April, hopefully with an MLS Cup ring in his hand. Inter Miami has the pedigree and has what it takes to win it all, and will surely give Vancouver a fight for supremacy. This isn't the first time these two teams have met this year. They avoided each other in league play, but met up in the semifinals at the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Vancouver upset them in both legs. And they didn't have Mueller at the time. Speaking of Mueller, an underrated rivalry between Mueller and Messi is renewed once more. Mueller has had Messi's number multiple times, including that aforementioned World Cup final in 2014. Now two all-time greats face off once again. It may not be the matchup we all predicted at the start of the season, but it's the one we all needed to see. One of these teams was adding a star on top of their crest. Will it be the blue-collar Whitecaps or the star-studded Herons of Miami? Who will raise the cup? A lot of people are already writing off Vancouver as inferior to Miami from the get-go. Personally, I don't buy it. I think this matchup will be incredibly closer than everyone thinks it will be. Both teams have equal star power and roster depth. Both have pedigrees to evolve, and both have fan bases starved for the title. I do firmly believe Vancouver has more to lose with this matchup. They've been one of the most mediocre teams in MLS before the season kicked off. Their fan base is among the most starved in the league, and are the most eager to see this hard-locked team finally win. It's the perfect underdog story to rally around. And like I said, they have upset Miami before, but could they do it again? Sadly, I'm gonna have to say no. There's too much on Miami to succeed, and they have everything storyline-wise in their favor. It's a shame to say this, but I predict Inter Miami to win 3-2. Messi wins trophy number 48, and Alba and Busquets ride off to Soccer Valhalla as champions one last time. Ronaldo fans will melt down, Messi meat riders will circle jerk in celebration, MLS will cash in with overpriced and mediocre championship and Messi merch, and Vancouver will be left with the ultimate what-if that will haunt them for all eternity. Have a good day. You know, even if I did put this out in time, I highly doubt my jinxing powers were that strong to begin with. I am so sorry, Vancouver fans. I let you down. I let you all down.